At the ending of the phone. So okay, so greetings everyone. Greetings from the USA, United States of America. And it's so nice and a great pleasure to know you all connected to this great interview of ours. For those who do not know, I am Tang, Clovis Kwale, and a Cameroonian citizen, presently working here in the United States of America. And it was a great time to know that we have a lot of Catholics who continue in their faith and also in their vocation to the service of God right here in the United States of America. And it is so good. You can see we are in one of these studios that produce and showcase the beauty of the church to the world at large and everywhere. And we are so honored as well to have our brother, our son, and our friend, Mr. George Nchumbonga Lekelefac. It's so nice to have you here.
Clovis have been longing to enjoy.
In fact, I am the one who is, 2 years ago, while in Cameroon,
yes.
I was working with the Radio Maria Cameroon,
exactly,
which is an international radio station.
Heard of all you do there.
And I have been there for a very long time, working with this wonderful radio which broadcasts internationally.
Yes.
And you see, I heard about you from one of the priests who has always been privileged to feature among my programs. And
okay.
also I had a lay Christian,
yes.
very, very smart as you are, which we call Dr. Oh my God, what is his name? Why is his name? Zumbushi Eric.
Okay.
Yes, Dr. Zumbushi Eric. Yes, he knows so much about you and very smart.
Okay.
Greatly smart, well staunch in the Catholic doctrine. And when we used to have these theological programs every Tuesday night,
yes.
and he would be like, oh, there is this, if we could get George to be part of some of our discussions, I think it's going to be a very important, a very important and an iconic program for the entire, area of Cameroon, the entire Church of Cameroon, not just Yaoundé as an archdiocese, which were benefiting of our great programs.
Okay.
And so, George, it's so nice to meet you. Give me
I'm so glad to hear all you've just said, and the age of social media,
Absolutely.
You write an article and people read from all over the world. That has to make use of it positively.
Exactly. And I think, I think that what you say is so important for us to know, because there is the power of the social media.
No, it has.
Do you believe that there are millions of people who know you that you don't know them?
Exactly. Like the doctor you're talking about. I don't know him.
You see?
Who has been reading my write-up,
Yes, they do.
So that
trust me. As a journalist, it's true, I have been mostly active with audiovisual.
Okay.
And most of the times,
you talked to me about that.
I did a sort of investigative type of journalism.
I see.
But they got interested with Catholic communication as someone who has strived toward, has grown up under Catholic education.
Exactly, has been groomed.
So I've been groomed on Catholic, the Catholic faith.
Wow. I can see
the
that.
best of all faith.
See that.
To me, I so love the faith, and that in my practice, of
yes.
journalism, communication, I saw it, I deemed it very necessary that I focus a little bit on, sacrifice some part of this love of my faith to communicate about Catholicism. And it's also important to know that I live my vocation, which should have been priesthood,
exactly.
in my profession.
Of course. The church is made up of different. Each person in the church has a status.
Absolutely.
There are laymen, lay people. You have the clergy, you have the cleric,
yes.
You have the religious.
Mm-hmm.
Cardinal Arinze explained it perfectly. We're like a football team.
Yes.
You have the person playing number 3, number 11, the defense, the goalkeeper. Each person has a part to play, and each person is important. There's nobody who is more than the other. Great. Because if the goalkeeper gets angry and leaves, the goal is going to enter. So you're trying to live your faith in media. What you're doing is you're playing the game. You're in the team.
Great.
You are very important as a lay person.
That is so nice.
Yes.
Thank you very much for that.
Yeah.
Those great people to discover who this gentleman is. Let him tell us exactly who he is. So tell us, who is Mr. George Nchumbonga Lekelefac?
George Nchumbonga Lekelefac is my name. I hail from Fontaine Libya Division. That's where my parents are from. But I was born in Balmayo. You know, that's the gift. Whenever I look at my life, I said, wow, I was born in the French. I was born in the Francophone, the French part of Cameroon. Then I studied in the English part of Cameroon. You know, that makes me to be a very balanced Cameroonian. I'm very balanced. Yaoundé, you're talking about Yaoundé. I say, oh, who does not know Volier? I've been to the Episcopal conference and I wanted to go to Bishogan.
Beautiful.
I was interviewed by Farapati Glafon.
Oh, right at the corner. Wow.
We had been. So a car passed by. He was the one. He had gone to play football. The man loves sports. Patrick Lafont was I just saw him. So he amazed me, you know. And I told him of that incident.
Yes.
And he smiled. And unfortunately, I didn't make it to Bishogan.
Really?
Can you imagine? They just wanted 3 candidates, and I was the 4th. So I didn't make. That no, I have no vocation for. I can't be a technician. Let us go to Sase. That's how we went to Sase, and I was admitted by Monsignor James Toba.
Yes, James Toba.
James Toba, the late James Toba, who left a so rest in peace. He was the one who admitted me there. No, I was there for 2 years. Then he helped transfer me to Bishogan, and Bishogan I was there till opposite. Then I went to Vianney Center. I was sent to Nigeria. I was advised to discern other vocations. That's just Nchumbonga in a nutshell. But advocacy.
Yes, advocacy.
Research.
Yes.
I'm so much concerned about research in Africa because we have so much that is not documented.
Okay.
You know, people want to write thesis about, let's take an example. You want to write a thesis about, let's say, Professor Bernard Fonlon, who is the first English-speaking Cameroonian to have a PhD.
Yes.
But there are no documents on him. Nobody has written about it. People write, they don't publish, you know. So I'm so interested about documenting things about people. Not documenting in the form of taking pictures. Now we want to publish a book, for example. If you want to do a beatific course of somebody who lived a life of heroic virtues, who distinguished himself in a life of heroic virtues, the one proofs.
Yes.
Absolutely. So proof can be pictures, proof can be what he wrote, proof can be what people wrote about him.
Absolutely.
But there was nothing. That was right. Yes. Now, I know the next
question. Come to that the burning spirit in you, the burning enthusiasm in you is more on this documentation, and the one of all that you started with, you began with, was Bernard Fonlon, right?
Fonlon. That was one. Spoke about research, documentation.
Yes.
Language.
Beautiful.
Language is the key to communication. Then finally, culture.
Yes, very powerful.
People keep asking me, why do you put on this? I say, it's because I'm a Cameroonian and I'm a proud Cameroonian. Everybody should know about that.
Yes.
And you too,
as you can see,
about
culture
it.
is very powerful.
It is extremely.
But then we need to also reiterate that culture is not just in the outlook, outfit, but also in the heart and in our behavior.
Good.
And I believe that you're exhibiting that already because of your interest in your country. Interest in what the affairs, what happened in your territory.
I'm glad you see it that way because other people see it differently.
Please, we need to be very careful.
Okay.
That's exactly what builds your culture, your personality, and your concern to where you come from. Not just, you can dress up like any other person can dress up. Exactly. But when you speak to that person, what comes out of the mouth identifies exactly what continent that person is from. You know, I want to say continent because in the social media atmosphere today, they say Cameroon is a continent.
Exactly, which is not true.
Not a continent. It's in French, they say not a continent.
It's a country in
because everything happening a lot of things are happening in Cameroon. That are beautiful. It's Africa in miniature.
That's how people say it.
It's Cameroon.
It's a summary of course.
You know, it's not because we're in the state you think you
think you've arrived.
More beautiful than Cameroon. To me, everywhere I have been to, I still and always love my country. Cameroon.
Not only the beauty, the academic.
Everything in Cameroon
formation
is what, you know, a lot of the missions
exactly
we are called to by the Lord,
yes,
which makes the world a one community.
Yeah, a global village.
Global village. We certain people are called to do what they're supposed to do wherever
they find themselves.
So to us it's a joy
to
render this service to the people of God
wherever
we go to. But we still love our country.
Of course.
It's our motherland. And so
it is our mother and fatherland.
Many people go around, they say, oh, talking about George, as you said, in the North Shore, and probably in the Southern Shore now, people are like, this guy who writes very long things. And you're like, you need to read. When you see George, he has posted. And I think a lot of people on their phones now have, I think they have their notification on for George. When you and they go to it, and they're like, oh, this guy has posted again, I need to read. And they know how, it's always
people have said it's so long,
very long, but they read. Though it's long, they read, and they say, who is this guy, who is this writer? So you have skills, you have an academic background on writing.
Now, how did the writing come about? I want to tell you very frankly.
Yes.
The first article I wrote was in Bishop Wogan, and it was about Fonlon.
Wow.
That was in lower 6.
Wow.
I wrote an essay. Oh my goodness. What is the name of our English teacher again? He was a British, the way he spoke, he was a British man, He really impacted in me the joy of writing and the time to write an essay.
Yes.
1 page. And I wrote it, so in fact he gave me 10. And I still remember that was in Form 3 in Bishop Wogan.
Yes.
A classmate can testify. So that started grooming me up. Then I was made spiritual prefect. Yes. Quiet. I was very quiet in Bishop Wogan. I was not talking to anybody because I was coming from Sase.
Yeah.
You see now.
Yeah.
So now, Fonlon.
Yes.
I posted it there in my class. Posted it there in the class. The same article I also wrote when I was in the Vianney Center. But that was that was just the first.
Yes.
But now, when I went to Nigeria, because I was went to Nigeria to study for Mamfe, so I went to Nigeria. I was so shocked of what I discovered in the seminary there. That seminarians, philosophy 1, 2 were publishing books.
Wow.
I never ever in my mind. So that's oh my God, that passion increased, and I wrote my first book in 2006 because I was asked to be a French lecturer as a seminarian. As a seminarian. So I was lecturing French in the seminary. So I found that there were difficulties for them to learn French because there were no textbooks. Cameroon is well organized now. We have Le Français, Le Flamboyant, all those. But in Nigeria, nothing. So I took time and wrote a book. It was called French Made Easy. My bishop gave me permission to publish, and it was published. And look at what happened. Yes. The rector we had was Father Donato Sodoite. Yes. He too was a writer. So in one seminary, he took my book and spoke about it. He said George is following the footsteps of Bernard Fonlon.
Beautiful.
I said, wow. Well, I had written about Bernard Fonlon, but I had not really known the man in toto. So when the man spoke about Bernard Fonlon in that conference, I went into work. I went into researching who is this Fonlon, and I fell in love with Fonlon. Just like that. That was the first stop.
Yes.
Then going down, visiting Nigeria, I went to Owerri. That was where I met a classmate of Bernard Fonlon, Monsignor Alfonso Agiazo, his classmate. So he started telling me, do you know Fonlon? The man, the whole day was telling me about Fonlon. I began studying theology. Cardinal Arinze. When I met Cardinal Arinze, the first thing was asking was, has Bernard Fonlon been beatified? Has he been beatified? Has his process begun?
Interesting.
So I said, but this is the third person who's talking to me about Fonlon. So in 2021. 21, exactly. So I'm just trying to give you a nutshell of my writing. So from
essay writing in school.
Yes, from Bishop Wogan, first essay. Then lower 6 first article, then Nigeria first book, and then from Nigeria, and then I exposed to Fonlon, and then the first open letter.
But tell us, George.
Yes.
Why growing up?
Yes.
What was your ambition? What were your ambitions?
Now, while growing up, my father was a teacher in a government bilingual primary school. He was a headmaster. He was teacher first, then he was made headmaster. He was asked to establish English and first person who established a bilingual school So he was a linguist.
We see.
Yes.
Permit me say, that, there is always these type of reality where it comes to children from
Yes.
teachers.
Good.
Our parents, when you look at the background of certain citizens of our country out
Yes.
there and the personality they have built academically and excellently, you would notice some teaching backgrounds back then with their parents.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we know how it was. It's not the case with the generation today.
No, it's not.
There's a lot of laxity when it
Right.
comes to academic.
Exactly.
Before then, if you were the child of a teacher, my
No,
God,
you have to behave. From 7:30 to 9:30.
Oh my God.
So 2 hours every day. We had to sit down. My father will. If you didn't do it, you get the last of your life.
Oh, but I know exactly what that means.
So that's the environment
really
I grew. And then my mother had the first and only bilingual bookshop in Balmayo.
Tell me something.
Buy English books.
Yes.
People were complaining they don't want to go to Yaoundé, so he established the first bilingual bookshop in Balmayo. And I was always there helping my mom to sell. So when customers were not coming, I would take books and read. That's how I started learning Spanish.
Yeah.
First German book I read. I say because they learn German and Spanish.
It exposed you exactly to what you do today, and I think there is really some, the younger generation should still believe in hope. Like
there's hope, absolutely.
Building the career they want from where they are today, right?
There's hope.
Like they can grow up in that same perspective and attain and achieve their goals tomorrow. We can see it in a perfect example of
there's
yours.
Hope. There's
it's
hope.
So wonderful.
There's hope. And let me tell you something very important. While growing up, I had this uncle of mine who was working in foreign affairs. He spoke English, French, his Royal Highness Fonkem, Chief Fonkem.
Okay.
His Royal Highness Fonkem. So he inspired me very much into learning languages because I said, since you're working in foreign affairs, I want to be an ambassador. Yes.
This is interesting.
An ambassador.
And I think that's what inspired you in the languages.
Good.
The science of language, which you have integrated yourself into.
Language.
And today, how many languages do you speak?
Well, that's a question I always feel uncomfortable answering because I don't want my viewers to give an impression that I'm a proud man.
No.
I'm being very honest with you. English and French.
Yes.
I learned it in Cameroon. Took it very seriously. Then when I left Nigeria, the first country I went to was Equatorial Guinea. I was there for 6 months where I studied Spanish in the Centro Cultural para Extranjeros.
Yes.
6 months. It was from there that I came back to Cameroon, then got a visa to Mexico to study, to deepen my knowledge of Spanish at the Universidad Veracruzana para Extranjeros. So that was where I profounded my Spanish in Mexico.
Yes.
And I just enjoy the culture, because the people are just like Africans. They're very hospitable. They respect our color, our personality. That was it. Then from there to Rome, where I studied theology in Italian. And then from there to Canada, where I did canon law. When I go to Canada, and in order to have my documentation in Canada, they insisted that I must study.
Yes.
So canon law came to my mind. Let me tell you why. Because I had, as a seminarian, I had seen the injustice that priests had suffered. Priests suffer a lot of injustice from bishops, and they can. There's nobody canon law are priests themselves.
Yes.
So when I was asked, what are you going to study? What the thing that came to my mind was canon law. I want to defend the voice of the voiceless. These guys who cannot speak, and I want to do it as a lay person.
Wait, this becomes a little bit. You're saying
yes,
the priests facing a lot of injustice.
Most priests,
yes, facing
a lot of from Africa. From Africa. No, let me be very specific.
Yeah.
From Cameroon. Prof. Bamenda.
This is.
No, I'm serious. The priest has no voice.
It's a direct allegation.
No.
Exactly who they are.
Okay.
But saying it already makes each and every bishop involved in that province an accused person of such a. So all the at present bishops will actually feel accused in a situation like this.
Why would they feel accused?
their guilt,
I said
the
some
guilt of their
bishops,
conscience.
and I have evidences.
You say some, but
Yeah.
some is not definite. Any of and the people listening are like, who is it then? So they have the figure of every bishop in their mind. Yes.
I don't know if you read the article I got about the 50,000 francs that was deducted from the account of Priest of Bamenda Ecclesiastical province.
Yes, I read.
No, not Ecclesiastical, Archdiocese. You know, they are the complaint to me, George, you need to write an article about this. We don't have a voice if we try. So I, about 2 or 3 days later, the money was kept back in the account. So this is the injustice I'm telling you about, that they say clear injustice, but they can't talk because they're afraid that they will be punished. And it's clear, it happens, which is not supposed to happen.
But then I wouldn't want us to get into the depth of this because
okay.
that's not the purpose of this. I want to say, talking about the Church Africa,
okay,
Cameroon, and Bamenda Ecclesiastical Province in particular,
so I have the fact, I studied there.
I understand. We Christians, lay Christians, we always, while growing up, we know the church in its beauty, in its perfection, in its, in its respect for everything. And when you're raising a big,
serious
like
issue,
this,
it
it brings questions to the mind that what has happened to the church. Is there something happening with the church that we don't understand? If priest feels what you said, like disrespected and disregarded, and for the past months we have had situations of priests resigning.
Of course, especially Manfred Isis. He's the 4th priest
that means there is really something
wrong
within the church. And is it? And you say it? We could tilt our minds to the bishops. Some of these bishops could be the cause of the problems that is happening within the church.
Now, from my experience and from what I have been gathering and collecting, the biggest problem is management. Our bishops don't know how to manage human beings.
So the problem comes with the bishop.
Of course,
we are very sure.
Of course, because let's take the example of which example were we talking about?
The 50,000.
Good. So if a priest can be afraid to come closer to a bishop who is his father, to tell him that, Father, why are you taking this money from my account now? If they can get wrong now, there's a problem and so on, which the church documents are so clear on that.
Exactly what I want us to get into, understanding that.
Yes.
You read canon law, and maybe you read more about the church you in the Vatican.
Of course.
So we want to know, how can we understand the relationship between the priest and a bishop?
Presbyterian Ordinis. Yeah. 65. That document made it crystal clear that the bishop is the father and the priest are his sons. They are collaborators. They are not social workers. They are collaborating with him so the diocese can fulfill its mission, which is proclaiming the gospel.
Good.
So once that relationship is lacking, something is wrong. Some bishops have become kings and princes.
Dangerous.
That even to meet them, you need an appointment, which is why don't you mind your business? I tell them, excuse me, I am part of the church, and I'm also hurt because I've been exposed to other particular churches. I lived in Mexico, I lived in Italy, I lived in Canada, I lived in Germany, and now I'm in the United States. When I see the way the church functions here, now it's totally contrary.
Yes.
You see a bishop calling his priest, the Bishop of Arlington, calling his priest. I want to give you a concrete example. Father Maurice Aqua.
Yes.
When he was celebrating his 25th anniversary, I wrote an email to the Bishop of Hamilton. Please, I'm a researcher. Could you send me a 1-page goodwill message on Father so that I can put in the first script we're writing about it? My brother, it took just about 2 days. The bishop sent it to me. He has never met me. He doesn't know me. But just because I send him an email,
Yes.
you see, that's the type of functionality I'm telling you.
Yes.
That they respect you no matter you are. It's not because you are not a priest, But back home, we still have that problem. How many bishops will call their priest to wish them happy birthday? But this bishop, once it's your birthday, he calls you. Say, Father, today's your birthday, happy birthday, I prayed for you. Because, he values his priests and he sees them as his collaborators.
But away from, I just want us to divert a little bit, like away from church.
Okay.
Africa is a cultural heritage territory.
That's true.
And the respect of culture, which in that culture implicates authority.
Which is not well understood, because authority is not lording things over others.
Okay.
Authority is service now.
Good. Is it? But I think it's really not understood, like you said, because it's not. What is authority? U.S. service.
Good.
But beautiful.
That's our African mentality.
Yes.
So everything they say you accept. But
that's what I want to say. Don't you think the church being inculturated, like inculturalization of the church, Africa, Cameroon, that same influence has gotten into that, and it's a reality today? Do you think it's going to be easy to take that away from the minds of the people first, talk less of the authorities? Because it is the people. It's the people that help to maintain authority. So if the people continue to, like the priest now writing you to tell you, we can't speak out.
Good.
That means
because we are afraid.
We are afraid, fear. Encouraging these practices.
I don't think they're encouraging. It's just that they have no other option because of fear of the implications or repercussions.
I see.
All right. It's just that they don't know how to. It's so difficult for them, to air out serious negative impact from what they have done, which is not supposed to be, That's what I'm talking about.
I try to understand exactly now why there exist concepts of voice of the voiceless.
Good. voice of those who cannot voice out,
especially within the church.
Where I have been able to mingle. I told them, Lekelefac of Bamenda now is being treated.
Your home, and so you have to do the cleaning from
my home.
Yes, help the people from your home.
Good.
Helping is not only, today we're talking about diaspora, helping people back home. It's not just helping by sending. Get worse and worse. Keep killed, but they need the advocacy of change.
Good. That liberty, that freedom of speech,
I understand.
to tell the bishop something that he has done wrong, but respectfully.
We really need to find a way to maybe re-educate or resensitize the church of our home.
And Pope Francis is the man who is trying to teach us.
Exactly where I was getting into with this new synodality.
Good. You see now,
which I think he had a special interest for Africa. And Sunday.
And he said some bishops are just like chiefs.
Aha.
No, he really criticized that thing already when he went to Cameroon. Because he had been reported cases now.
Yes.
Commanding a kingdom. No, the church is different. A bishop is, look, just one of the titles of the Pope.
Yes.
Is the servant of the servants.
Okay.
If a bishop is there to serve, and we have had bishops who have distinguished themselves in the province.
Okay.
So I'm not just criticizing everybody, but that bishops, the pioneer bishop, Bishop Prof, one of the most humblest servants of God we know, but very intelligent, is there to show us the way. Bishop Prof.
Oh yes, yeah, no. Okay.
Seriously, but unfortunately, it was not well launched.
Okay.
Because yes, the cause. And then Archbishop Clear came. Now he was not even there for the luncheon because that was when he was appointed. Now when he went to Rome, now as he told me in Dallas, because let me tell you, Archbishop Clear came to the United States. He asked for me to meet him. I did not ask so. Let me make it very clear.
Archbishop.
He is the Archbishop of Bamenda. He's the metropolitan of the ecclesiastical province.
Okay.
So laughing.
All right.
Then he told was a liturgical sham. He told me, because I'm one of those journalists who don't go around living. No, I say things that have been said.
All right.
Because to me, this is a serious vocation.
Yes.
Say, wow, it was a liturgical sham that he launched a course when he didn't do the paperwork. In anything in the church, the administrative processes. If you want somebody to be beatified, you need documentation now.
Yes.
But he did not do any of those things. So I went to Rome to the Congregation for the Canonization of Saints. They said there's no fire on Bezekov. There's no fire on the Archbishop.
Who said that there was no?
The prelates were in charge of the congregation.
How do you know?
Because he told me. I went to Rome to find out the cause of the beatification of Prof. Bezekov, because people have been asking me now.
Yes.
That is 2 years now. What is happening?
Okay.
So he was shocked that there was no documentation. So we have to begin from scratch. There's no nulla obstat.
Yes. Okay. That's.
I mean, we have to be serious with things.
Acknowledging.
Recognizing.
Of example.
Recognizing
people
of example.
Especially someone like. And it's an opportunity for me to acknowledge one of the singers like Father Bonaventure
exactly.
As a bishop and as an exemplary father.
Oh.
So yeah, and I recommend a lot of people to go through Father Bonaventure. It's not publicity anyway, but we're just sharing because it's due to him. I didn't leave. I wasn't active like I was like the time of the Sekop. I didn't know much. We grew up to know about.
He was taught by Prof. By Bernard Fonlon.
Yeah,
of course, Bernard Fonlon was his teacher.
Exactly.
Bernard Fonlon grouped him up.
Yes. This is very.
And they worked together. When Bernard Fonlon was minister in Yaoundé, Archbishop Prof. whenever he came to Yaoundé for any meeting, he would spend the night at Professor Bernard Fonlon's house. They were just extremely close.
I see.
The major seminar of Bambui, the intellectual, when it was founded, Professor Bernard Fonlon said, it's not because we're in Africa that this seminar will just be a seminar where people don't study. No, it has to be a serious place. He was Archbishop Prof. Zekov and Professor Bernard Fonlon were people know now. We don't even need to.
We don't need to.
We don't need to talk more about that.
They can go.
So that Cardinal Tumitu was a people to Bernard Fonlon. So you can see where the thing goes. It comes from Bernard Fonlon. Then you have the Zekov. And then you have Cardinal Tumi. That's how the line goes of saints, of bishops who have distinguished themselves. Professor Bernard Fonlon was not he didn't become a priest, but he was a layman like myself. So he is inspiring me a lot to writing. I'm going to take him back to that question of writing. He's the one that is his legacy, no?
Yes, his legacy.
And when he wrote, I don't know if you've ever written this article. Whenever he read Professor Bernard Fonlon, it would be from 25 pages.
Okay.
So for him, writing was a serious enterprise. Whether people read or not, write it. They would come and cite it later, 10 years later.
Absolutely.
Good.
And it's important that Professor Bernard Fonlon, which you are very fan of.
Yes. When I'm crusading. I'm crusading seriously for his beatification.
I love the way you put it.
I'm crusading.
Earnestly again.
Earnestly. During the COVID-19, how I went to Nigeria, went to the Vatican, different countries, just to interview people who had known Bernard Fonlon.
Yes.
And I asked myself, where did I get all that power, if not from above?
From above.
Despite all the traveling.
That's true.
Oh.
That's very true. And you came back to Cameroon and had a tour at the Catholic University.
I was there. I interviewed Professor Esomba, Father Esomba, for that was the liturgical man.
Absolutely.
The maestro, I call him. Always there, liturgicus. On le connaît, mais Bernard Fonlon, c'était un grand théologien. Il a beaucoup écrit, qui ne le connaît pas. So I was so impressed with Fonlon in that manner.
And so it's also important for us to note that not just having influence with the church was Bernard Fonlon, but he, as the nation is concerned, the national anthem, which the English version was also some of what he did for the great nation.
that he did not translate. He cogitated.
Good.
Not to cogitate. If you look at
the English version of the anthem is not the
translation. It's not the translation. Some people should not be saying that it's Fonlon. No, he cogitated.
Yes.
That means the melody, the info.
I think I really rejoice with you personally, with this this crusade on his behalf, and I think, but it's but normal that others, especially the church, should join you in this journey.
But unfortunately, they are just the opposite.
Really?
I'm telling you, I contacted Archbishop, Bishop Josh Nku. I thought he will collaborate with me. I said I was ready to help him. But he said, no, we have a committee that has been doing this thing for how many years? This is 17 years. He's that Bishop Kumbo.
But then, let's take it simply. Do you think you are the right person for this journey, for this crusade?
Now,
individually.
No,
I know, obviously, you've tried to contact church authorities.
Of course.
It's a church affair.
Good.
Right? But I want to know, it's true, I want to know from you, do you think, personally, you are well placed and you are doing the right thing as an individual to be involved in something?
Now, that is the problem with our culture.
Okay, then.
Nobody does anything. Then when somebody wants to begin, they say, are you? So who has to begin?
Okay, the big question. Yes.
That I had an interview with Professor Lantum.
Okay.
Of Professor Bernard Fonlon.
Okay, yes.
He lamented profusely. He lamented terribly that he had been writing private letters to Bishop Eswa, who was the first Bishop of Kumbo. He was Bishop in 1982. This man had been, because Fonlon died in 1986. Okay. You understand? So Bishop Eswa was already Bishop of Kumbo, and he knew Professor Bernard Fonlon very closely. So Professor Bernard Lantum had started writing. He told me he cannot remember the number of letters he got to Bishop Eswa on the beatification course. He was ignored.
But
Bishop Josh Ngo came, he did the same thing. So who has to begin?
But now, all right. Talking about who has to begin.
Yes.
And also, I think I would have asked these first before this other one, which is one thing to know exactly if because I feel like Dr. Bernard Fonlon, unlike the majority, I wouldn't want to say all those beatified, most recently, and even before time, have been people who have been directly connected with the faith, either as religious men or women, or consecrated people. Was Bernard Fonlon a consecrated Christian?
That's the problem that we misunderstand. We think that sainthood is only for clerics.
Okay, I think you need to clarify also.
No, it's totally wrong. Sainthood is for now. As I earlier told you in my premise, that the church is like a football team.
Yes.
We have the bishop, we have the pope, we have the lay people. All of them are the same because of their baptism.
Okay, beautiful.
No, they're the same.
Yes, by baptism.
All the same. That's why each person matters.
Yes.
So each person can be a saint, ipso facto. If Fonlon not become a saint, when we have so many lay people who have been saints in church history.
Okay.
No, there have been so many. The point is that somebody has to begin the day. Somebody has to write to the bishop to tell the bishop that this man has been distinguished with some heroic virtues when he was alive. Fonlon is clear.
Yes.
As a minister, he distinguished himself. He
had Catholic foundation.
Of course, he went to the seminary. In fact, he was sent to the seminary by Bishop Peter Rogan. That's the first bishop of Boya Diocese. In fact, the founding bishop, 1950. 1950. So he sent him to Bigard Memorial Seminary in Enugu. That was where he studied for the priesthood, but he was dismissed. I use the word, he was all-start. He was all-start from the seminary.
Yes.
Which I have written an article and explained what happened because of the memorandum he wrote, because of the racism that was taking place. Then they were the first batch in Bigard, and they were badly treated. So somebody had to write a letter to the formators to tell them that what you guys are doing is not good. We are all.
But I think already his Catholic academy and his seminar.
He was extremely intelligent.
It already makes him a potential candidate for beatification.
Now,
right?
Cardinal Francis Arinze, who knew him at Bigad, has been reminding our bishops, Paul Vetekov, looking in the Vatican, and I told them, what are you guys waiting for now to begin the beatification concourse of Ben and Fonlon? Page testimony, which and follow. In that 2 page, he expressed how he had visited Cameroon to minister. And then he explained that the seminary fellow was a quiet man, very, very studious, you know, a man of there's a word he used which I really admire. He said Fonlon he used to testimony that in one of those holidays he took Fonlon. Fonlon was in one of the parishes closer to him, so he took Fonlon to their family house to introduce Fonlon to the father and the mother. And the father was a good wine tapper, and he gave Fonlon some to taste. Now Fonlon said, this is good. Other people from different nationalities, the high distinguished regard that they have for Professor Fonlon, unfortunately, and they are trying to crusade for his beatification. But
okay, so maybe just trying to tell us from your mind,
yes,
your feelings, what is the issue? What's the problem that the Church of Cameroon and especially of our province is not interested? It seems not interested in this beatification process so far.
I think the problem we have with our culture, let's go back to our culture, is this recognition. I don't know why we don't recognize our own.
Oh, right.
I don't know why.
Okay, yeah.
We don't recognize our own. It's a terrible thing now. Look at the university we are studying in Germany. It's Wilhelm Universität. So any university has a name on it.
Yeah.
It's a name of somebody who distinguishes himself. You go to university, you can't say university without a name. In fact, and was lamenting why they did not dedicate the University of Yaoundé under Ben and Fonlon's name.
Yeah, I think
but this is the man who started. So they are not recognized. That is the problem. Our bishops are not. And then Cardinal Arinze too say one of the problems too is that we spend so much time on structures. Let's build structures, but we forget about this other spiritual dimension. It's a spiritual dimension which has to be developed. Our own people, we have many people in Lekelefac province who qualify to be saints, to be recognized by the church. Because Cardinal Arinze said it's true. There are some saints that are not in the list of saints.
Yes.
No. But it's good that we should that it should be respected from here on earth. That's why it's important. The process is important because the church recognizes them. You know, look at Magua, who was recently, his case now is advancing.
Yes.
It's going to be.
Yes.
It's not only for Cameroon. It's the entire universal church. People are going to learn from his example. So why not do that?
And we know so well that a lot of places around in the north have been named after him.
You see,
Centre, Baba, and all.
You see,
right down to Yaoundé.
Exactly.
Have centers.
Even in
his name. And so, what really is the big question is what really is the problem? That I think
the problem is the culture.
The culture.
Because the bishop that forwarded, a bishop has to forward the case now. The bishop who that forwarded the case of Baba was a white man from Belgium, Monsignor Steve.
Yes, Steve.
Why?
Yeah, I think
Even learn from them.
It's a very big question and a very interesting question. I think it's still part issue. I think it's part of your advocacy already.
Of our own.
Yes, and not only limiting to him, but I think if we go deep into our history, we will discover that there are a lot of iconic people that need to be recognized, need to be celebrated on a daily basis, but unfortunately, it's not the case. I think we need to really work on these cultural aspects.
Mr. Tang, Clovis, we have so many catechists. In those days when there were no priests, catechists did everything now.
Yes.
There are so many of them who are qualified for sainthood.
Yes, very
but
true.
They are not documented. You will not see any article on them. Not
documented.
That's the problem, because what you wrote and what you said, We don't write.
I think the people following us up now can actually understand exactly your essence.
Good.
They should be able, if you are listening attentively, my people, you should be able to really figure out his essence.
My essence
is very important.
Yes.
Not having, watching these should actually be an opportunity for you to open your mind to understanding. I'm not here to make you encourage him or whatsoever.
No. We are being objective.
Discover what he is doing and be objective.
Yeah.
And see how we can help join together to either caution him if he's doing wrong or encourage him if he's doing right. It's very simple. It's simple mathematics. It's very simple.
And there's some people telling me, George, your pen is too blunt. And I tell them, the writer is the one who has a message to pass across.
Absolutely.
And you guys don't know how many people I've spoken to who lamented profoundly. This is somebody who was sitting like this lamenting. So when I'm writing my article, I need to express the.
As a researcher, I believe that is what research demands.
Of course, no.
Research demands the least detail.
And I take time to do that. Nobody pays me. You think people are paying me to do this thing? No, it's a vocation. To me, it's a calling from God, and I take time. Sometimes I spend the whole day in the library writing an article. People think it's easy.
It's no.
It's a serious thing.
It's crazy, someone in the communication field like myself.
Okay.
It's crazy for me to find someone or to be with someone in a conversation and he says somebody's article is too long. I think at some point you, the individual writing the article, can even sue someone for criticizing your article, because it takes a lot of strength, time, sacrifice to bring up an article which is not yours but for the public.
Exactly.
And it's being criticized at that point. It's horrible. It's not appreciated at all.
Well, people say that Cameroonian, the best way to hide something from a Cameroonian is to put it in a book. Yes. But we have to learn to read.
Yeah, but
we should learn to read.
You said it earlier. Time will come when they go back to
reference. They will go back. They will go back.
Let's look at situations like, I'm sorry we are going to point this out because we have to also, feel what's happening. I lived the crisis in Cameroon.
Oh, did you?
Coming here.
So
I was within the crisis.
Okay.
And so, you see, one of the things at some point that actually made most people understand the reason for why the crisis was at that point was because they had to go back to documented history.
Let's go back. Good.
This documented history was
a
situation, and it's when we are in the situation you see because playing a very important role, because you are raising awareness, and I think this is what the society today, the global village in which we belong, need, which is creating awareness. And we need the voices of the voiceless, and we need, not everyone has that gift to bring out information
and the courage
and the courage,
because
fear is the greatest fear. Fear is the greatest fear of man.
It hinders,
and it's here in the it's why here in the state that I was able to challenge most of the fears I had personally.
You see,
at times you would be scared to do certain things because you're scared of the consequences. But when you get here, you see how the people out there, they dare it, dare and fail.
That's true.
Next time you sitting and out of fear,
always afraid of,
and you will never have change.
No.
But we can see it even changing in the dynamics of leadership in some certain countries in Africa.
Yes.
The people have taken away fear,
exactly,
and they are standing for what is right.
See.
And obviously, you will get what you want.
You get what you want.
If you do not stay to enjoy of that, your
predecessors will.
You're fighting the cause for, because tomorrow, if Bernard Fonlon is
beatified,
it's not, the glory doesn't come to or to the
it comes
church,
to the entire universal church
and to the continent itself.
Exactly.
Universal church, as we say.
You see?
And so, but coming back to this, because it was so important, I had to point this out, this advocacy for us to change our mindset and really get into seeing how to this culture to rebuild
the mindset is
of awareness.
The mindset
and awareness
is terribly,
which drives us to progress.
Good.
We shouldn't be behind.
Not only progress, freedom.
Freedom.
We're in chains. And Bernard Fonlon wrote in his Journey Intellectual that one of the greatest sufferings we have in Africa is ignorance.
Yes.
We are ignorant. We don't study. We don't travel to see how things are done elsewhere. We have to do that. It's not culture. It's high culture. No. That's anything in our culture that we have to say no to it.
Good. Not because we are learning from some other culture, but because it's the culture and sees it not worthy. Not contributing to the holistic development of man.
You see now, when
people would say you are advocating for change because you have learned it from people out there. They don't know that we have a conscience within us which should serve as a weapon to help us discern exactly if what is happening is appropriate for us.
Faculty in mind that judges. Kanlatumi loved it.
The faculty of
mind that judges.
Interviews with Katanatumi, several interviews while at the conference of bishops. So I understand now.
Faculty in the mind that judges an act to be either good or bad or wrong or right. Beautiful. Everybody has it.
Beautiful. So thank you so much. It's so nice, have this exchange with my brother here, George, and so it's because we want to. My purpose was for this is for us to understand this process of beatification of Bernard Fonlon, because I have this very special interest in Bernard Fonlon myself personally, and I know that you have gone through so many challenges and says of words from people, and also one thing I also want to point out before I get back to this. I was recently back home we have had situations of social media influencers who die, and I do not know whatever it's happening, but one thing that struck my attention was when I asked certain questions. I do investigations, so when I asked certain, most people, their reaction is, do you know the trauma these people go through?
These people,
the influencers who die.
Okay.
They could die of any other thing which we don't know, but what struck my attention, which I got from several people, was, do you know the psychological trauma?
Chronic.
Why? Because of the criticism laid on them by their own people whom they believe or think that should support them. So I want to point out the type of trauma you go through.
Well, I don't go through any trauma. I'm a happy man because whatever I do is objective and is justifiable. I don't just get up like a fool and just write nonsense.
Beautiful.
I get my facts, I discern, and then I write.
But you have people criticizing you on a daily basis. A senior mindset that defeats any criticism coming, right?
My mindset defeats. As long as my conscience is clear what I've written, and most of the things I write are reports from people, mostly prisoner. In Rome, I studied in Nigeria. I studied canon law in Canada. I was the only lay person. So these are the very people who call me and report. So when I do something, these guys criticizing me, I'm just laughing at them. That you don't even know what they're talking about. This is a report from somebody and you are there criticizing me. Why can't you be objective to look at the case? What is George saying? Is just telling lies, or why can't you? It's so discouraging that there are people like that. That just so.
But I'm very happy that you are able to conquer that.
No. I want very clear to all of you watching. I have no. What was the word again? Trauma. What the one? And I move on because I know God is with me and God is guiding me.
I like,
and I'm freeing a lot of people.
Message which goes to all other influencers out there. Those who have the public space and are doing the good job. If what you're doing is good and right, and you justify it,
please don't have any trauma. And please, you have faith in God.
Yes,
it's extremely important. Because God created you, He is your creator, and He said He will always be with you until the end of time. Jesus Christ, I will be the way, the truth, and the life. If you believe in Him, He's going to protect you. Forget about all these people are going to say, stop rioting, they're going to kill you. If they want to kill you, then. But don't be afraid.
Die for the
Do not be afraid.
Fear.
Keep on speaking for the voiceless. Keep on uncovering truths.
All right, so tell us before we end up go as long as tomorrow. And so what do you think we need to do after regarding all of these situations with the laxity, with the uninterest, or from the church clergy, the clerics, and the interest in the beatification of beloved. What do you think we can do now? Are we late, or can we arise and do something? What, as a researcher, historian, a writer that you are, and an advocate, and also a crusader for the beatification. I use that term. I think it should be titled that, the crusader for the beatification of Dr.
Fonlon, Archbishop Prof.
So, what do you think that our people can do now? What do you suggest?
Now, one of the serious things that has to be done is we have to go back. We have to go back to Vatican II.
Who has to go back?
The lay people themselves and the hierarchy.
Okay.
The bishops. They have to go back to Vatican II. They have to go read the document on the laity. Apostolicam Actuositatem. Apostolica means apostles that are acting Actuositatem. In that document, it's a decree for the lay people. That document was clear to show the lay people the important part that they have. And even when Pope John Paul II came, he got an apostolic exhortation. Christi Fidelis Laity. The lay people is a problem. Lay people, who are you? And that's the same problem I'm going through because I'm a layman. So they say, what is he talking about? Is he a priest? That is a mentality that even the lay people back home have to change.
Okay, beautiful.
Because look at the crusade. Lantum. Professor Lantum was a layman. But they don't discard the man because he's a layman. You see now. So the first thing Cardinal Tumi said, it is not the state that sanctifies so. It's not whether you're a bishop or a pope. That's not what sanctifies. It is fidelity to your state, which means each person in the church is important. So we have to go back to that concept. The bishops have to listen to the lay people when they write to him a letter, or when they say, oh, we want Fonlon to be beatified. He has to listen to them now and help them. And listening is the most important thing. And yesterday the father was explaining that there's a difference between hearing and listening.
Absolutely.
In Spanish, it's escuchar y oír. Oír is just, I hear a sound there. But to listen means to understand and to put into practice what has been understood.
Perfect.
So that's what we need in ecclesiastical province. The lay people need to be given let's go back to what we're talking about. It's synodality now.
It's synodality.
If we are the people of God, but what
who has the and the bishop will come and go.
The church remains. The people of God.
The people of God remain, and so they have that space.
Yes.
They have that duty.
Yes.
To make sure that this church staying back is of quality, is of their expectation that brings them more closer to God.
Of course.
Okay. Yeah, I understand. So. Yeah, you were saying something.
And then Mr. Lambert Bong, whom you know very well, wrote an article recently and said, as Bishop Kia, when he came to the States, the first time came to America, one of the things he told people was, I am the bishop, I speak, and you are the laity, you have to listen.
No.
You know, that's terrible theology. It's not even Vatican II. And it's anti-evangelical.
I can add to that by saying no, because I am a Christian.
Good.
I'm saying this in terms, as an ethical journalist, but I will not want to criticize this word, but as a Christian, which is the church. The church is clear about it.
Good.
Yeah,
to that, the church, the lay people have a voice, and they are not slaves. We cannot be going back to slave trade and this colonialism. I think a colonial where, and let me tell you something, the other bishops have also complained that the archbishop is intruding into the affairs of other dioceses. But you see, the same fear. Why can they not say it openly? Why are they afraid?
No, I do not. To help this process of beatification of
so we have to cut that thing of fear.
Yeah, okay. And what is there, because the archbishop told you he has created commission, or is the bishop?
No, it was a study commission.
Okay, a study commission. Yes.
Study.
So how can we do that? What should
he criticized me by saying that I made it open, that I went to social media. So I said, excuse me please, how is it done? You should ask from Rome.
Yes.
Go to Italy.
Yes.
In Italy, in fact, they don't normally. The document says after 10 years they can begin the introduction of the course.
Okay.
But in Italy, in most of the countries, even in Mexico where I was, my brother, as you die, they start gathering documentation. In fact, the preparing, guarding, interviewing people who knew the man before he dies. But our bishop is saying that there's a group commission, and this is a 17-year-old Bishop Okumbo. So what has the group done for 17 years? What have they done? It's just a clear sign that he's not interested. That they are more interested in building structure, jumping from one to another. They forget this other spiritual dimension. Why can they not? It's a very easy thing. You don't have to delegate. And we had Father Jumbam, Jerry Jumbam, who was advocating seriously for this Ben and Fonlon thing. In fact, he got a book. He got a book on Ben and Fonlon, and he was silenced. The bishop silenced him that don't talk about Fonlon again. Why? What is the problem? What problem does Bishop Josko have with Ben and Fonlon?
All right, I don't know, and it doesn't concern us.
The next Bishop Kumbo will do something because he has just 5 years left. This is
God, I get.
Bishop should be untouchable.
You can say as you have.
No, my brother, I've been exposed to different particular churches where people write, but our people don't write. Anything the bishop does is good, and that's why criticize them when they're doing. No, we have to appreciate them when they're doing good things, but we have to criticize them too when they're doing the wrong thing, so that they should know. People are just quiet. Bishop is doing something wrong. No, he's good because he's bishop. No, the church has changed. People have to this mindset I'm telling you about, which I.
Us now, there is this Fonlon something committee of memorial, a group.
It's a society.
Fonlon society.
Yes.
So how far? Because I want to believe. Already?
We have been talking now. The problem is the diocese.
Oh, really?
Because it's the diocese of origin that has to introduce the case now.
I see.
That's the problem has been blocked because of the Bishop Kumbo.
Okay.
He's the one that has to. People. No. Why can't you do that? They say it's too expensive. Who says? Cardinal said, when you begin a course, people who are interested now, they will even donate before you ask.
Good.
But you have to begin the course. You have to launch it now. You have a book that you want to publish 10 years later. You have the book already, but you don't have money now. And then you come, you launch the book. This is the book. It's about people who are and give you 10 million. So that is what the Bishop Kumbo has to do. He has to launch the course. Because Cardinal Tome has spoken, my brother, more than, if you see the list of people I interviewed, Cardinal Naikon, these are cardinals. What? Bishops? No.
So you think there is hope? Is there any hope?
So I'm telling the Archbishop, I'm telling the Bishop Kumbo Johnson, who is listening to me, that let us go back to that your group you spoke about.
Yeah, so there's a study group.
Good, so Bishop Joshua, if there's a study group, update us on what the study group has. What are the results?
If there is a committee, the committee should have that duty. Every committee should have the duty of information. And update your church.
Good, on what is happening.
Because the people, it shows that the people are interested in. So we want to really know how far, because to know how far it goes, we will be so proud to celebrate this great achievement for the church. So what if let me put it this put it this way before we are slowly going to the end of this interview, and so I want to know if you are being called by the bishop today to be part of this committee set up on the beatification, not only the study, but the process, studying the process of beatification.
That does not concern them. It's not about process. Their own is to gather documentation and send to Rome now.
And it's Rome that continues.
It has not been sent.
Okay. So wow.
That can be a documentation to be sent to Rome. Because I interviewed different people now.
So have you been called by this diocese to present this?
Nobody has called me to do anything.
But if you are invited to do,
of course I will go now.
Okay.
I will go.
Beautiful. Great.
But his reply was just terrible.
No, let's say, because this is becoming very much serious.
No, it's very serious.
I think I want to believe that the church, which is on constant.
And I gave a copy of the book to Archbishop Andrew Nkea in Dallas last year when we met.
Okay.
I gave him the book. He said, "Well, George, you know that I'm not the one who to do it now. It's Bishop Johnsko who has to." He told me
that
now.
was a statement.
He said, "No, I'm not the Bishop of Kumbo. He was born in Kumbo. That's why. His case now is that of Ezekov. Archbishop Andrew Nkea has to correct the
I
mistake."
want to know, with your experience so far in the United, is there an association of Cameroonian priests in the United States?
Association.
Yes, something that brings Cameroonian priests together, like Cameroonian. But no association.
That's the problem.
Because I'm like, since you're doing your works from here,
yes,
maybe if you had a louder, voice accompanying you, because at times, a single voice, people would seem like, but I believe your voice alone is so
Mr. Clovis, my voice alone. And the voice of the
no, I'm just saying, because
no, they are supported
by people. Maybe you want
no. The bishop knew that I am supported. He knows that, even from the book I gave him.
Right.
See, they are reading me now.
Okay, good.
The point is that they have no will.
Oh, no will. Yeah,
they're not interested in the cause.
I see. Okay.
Right. And they're saying that because it's expensive. So Cardinal Arinze explained that, no, what expensive are they talking about? When we began our own case, Cardinal Arinze gave an example.
To speak like him now.
Yeah, when we began our own case like at Onitsha, who were so the ones who supported and taught us how to do it, because we didn't have any documentation. They started documenting books and they sent to the and Arinze is telling me I can for my diocese whom I think should be a saint. How do I make him a saint? The Convention of Cardinals said, "Call." I was met bishop he was 32 years old. Auxiliary bishop on
the great man.
So the man said, okay. He called one of the prelates who are working in the congregation and said, please educate this bishop on how saints are made.
Wow.
We need documentation, write about him, interviews, and there's an interview right there on YouTube about Emmanuel Tansi. Interviews from different people.
Okay.
But people have good. So that's what has to be done. And can you imagine? There's no documentary on Professor Fonlon. So and you know what he did in Kumbo now? The one about the church, but things about the
Kumbo is an iconic diocese within the
what are you talking about?
Church in Cameroon.
He made sure water came and all the other interventions, and he cannot just be forgotten that the bishop is the father of the diocese. He has to take care of this case as if it's his son, So
there is hope that
there is hope because Tansi is now blessed.
Okay.
And we are waiting him to be canonized. This is the address of Onitsha.
Okay.
So one day I know that the case of Fonlon will be introduced.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. To close up with this, I just have one very funny question. To not be bad.
No. I love questions.
Yeah. So, I'm just so happy to have you today and to
interview you
and to make your voice heard out there to our people. And just tell us, as brief as you can.
Yes.
Don't you think that is your way of laughing, your laughter, that made you not become a priest?
Well, I vividly remember that in class 2,
yes,
my French teacher gave me 24 strokes.
Because of it.
And the one John gave me because I like to giggle.
Really? Yeah.
It's just natural, So why?
So it didn't cause you any issues at the same
time? No.
Why did it become? Why a priest?
No.
You spoke about synodality already.
No. As a priest, I will not be in a better place because the freedom I enjoy as a layman.
Beautiful. what it is.
No, as a layman, if I was a priest, I would not even be permitted to write all the article. The bishop just sent me a letter, stop writing. You see, no? So for me, I have discovered my vocation as a layman. And last 2 years, I went to Nigeria and we spent the night with a rector that recommended that I be withdrawn. Because there was a rector who recommended. Of course not.
And you slept with them same house with him.
I said, Father, thank you for asking me to go. I told problem. He's my man. We talk on WhatsApp. We talk in Italian because he's an Italian genius and a scriptural man. So I have no problem. I have no grudge against anybody. It was God's will that I should not be a priest.
For you to get.
And people keep saying, George, he's so bitter because he was not a priest. No, all what I do now is not because I was not a priest. So people should not stop saying that it's because I did not become a priest that I'm against. No, everything I write is to free people from all this this slavery and all this commanding and all this intimidation, you know.
And I think a lot of
another session, I'm going to tell you the story how it evolved.
Sure, we'll have another opportunity sometime.
So I can explain really what happened. Really. But on Facebook should have read already what happened.
But I think that after today, they would have to read in the lines. Into the lines of what you write, because they get to discover you again.
No, but it was disobedience. Let me make it very clear. I was asked to withdraw because of disobedience.
Okay.
I can't see without glasses, you know. So normally I usually went to.
And is it necessary to justify the disobedience?
No, I would like to do that.
Okay, go ahead then.
I can't see without glasses. So I was asked to go to a hospital for my eye problem, but I didn't go to that hospital. I went to another hospital, which I found that was better.
Okay.
So that was disobedience.
Yes, obviously. Yeah, and we know that as a seminarian group.
No, you have to obey.
Obedience is one of. Today.
Exactly.
You vow to obedience.
That's true.
Vow to obedience. There is no choice. There's no compromise in that. True. Obedience to your authority.
By fire.
And your bishop.
You know, you cannot obey the bishop to kill yourself.
Do you think the church actually had reasoned that out before?
No,
we're talking about obedience.
No, the church has reasoned it out, and there are a lot of books that have been written about obedience. What is obedience?
But the church hasn't declared officially that part when it comes to obedience. So obedience is obedience.
No, it's clear even in the Catechism of the Catholic Church. You cannot obey to do the wrong thing.
Okay.
If I go and kill this man, will you go and kill the person?
You know, because there are limitations to that obedience, as you say, good enough that the priest should be aware. I think they are not aware of it. If there is, they should.
They are not given that space to talk. You know, look at the way the priests and the bishops relate here in America.
Yes.
A bishop transfers a priest. The priest doesn't like it. He comes to the bishop and says, "Bishop, I can't do this thing because of this." You know, they can negotiate.
Yes. They are collaborators.
That's very important. That was what was lacking in the seminary for me. The rector refused to understand
that you had
and I had my money.
You had
it's not
going to.
Of course.
Yes. It wasn't just you weren't just demanding, but you had a need.
And Bishop Bisinghe supported me.
Okay. Yeah.
He said, "No way, George is there because that very hospital was a hospital. One of our seminarians died. I'm telling you, he was badly operated and he just died there. It was called Naka. So I said, I'm not going there. I'm going to Enugu, and I came back and reported myself.
Okay.
So I left the seminary because of disobedience. Let me make it crystal clear. Because I went to a better hospital for these glasses. Because what's the need being blind because of obedience? No way. No.
All right.
No way. Priesthood is a vocation. It's a call from God.
Absolutely.
It's not a bishop's thing.
No.
No, we have to stop that nonsense.
My interviews with a bishop some time ago, and it was about vocation. And about and how certain bishops have destroyed the vocations
of many seminarians.
And they are out there today.
No, they are here in the US.
Everywhere in the world.
Has a phone because
the
drinking beer.
Actually, I also asked the cardinal on the issue of vocation. Unfortunately, they were all audio. With Radio Maria. They can get anyway, but their reactions towards vocation has always, been a sort of like you said, not a sword, but the reality of God's call to the people.
Exactly.
To someone to serve.
Good.
And so everyone should be given that opportunity to serve. But unfortunately, it's not the case today.
No.
Because that is why you have spiritual directors.
Good.
And the bishop, which by the gift of the Holy Spirit is able to know who actually comes to that place to serve.
Good.
But unfortunately,
they don't consult them. No.
You know,
the rector is
the
there.
decision without consulting the
Good.
individual.
Good. It's so terrible in our continent.
We need to work about on the issues of vocation.
Yeah, you just get out and just dismiss the seminarian.
No, it's not. I think
because he's charismatic. Look at the case of Dr. Lekelefac. Because he's charismatic. So he was banned from any charismatic activity. This is something that the church is promoting people to be charismatic. And then you are dismissing a seminarian.
All right. So thank you very much, Dr. John. And thank you very much for accepting to have this exchange with me today.
Dr. Randus.
On this wonderful YouTube recording, and it's an opportunity. We salute all the clerics of our country, Cameroon, of all the different Episcopal, of all the different
dioceses, exactly,
especially those of the Episcopal Conference, and the great job they are doing. And condolences as well to the bishops that left us during this. Yes.
Especially the recent Emeritus of Betwa.
May he go, may he rest in peace. And also our bishop that died,
Bishop Bala. Bafia.
So rest in perfect peace. We continue to pray for men of God. And also greetings to our sisters. They are always mostly,
our religious
reverend sisters. They're always least regarded, but
in the church.
And until some point a priest had to tell me if he was asked to be a sister, he would refuse. He doesn't even know the essence of sisters in the church. So you can listen to what the priest says already, because so
the way they are treated now.
Yeah, the way
there's a serious problem that discarded and
that disregarded. Like the personal non gratas within the church is so bad. We need to really restructure, and I believe that the Western world takes Africa as an example in the Eucharist that
of course
we can't have Eucharist we can't celebrate the Eucharist the way we do when our Eucharistic people are not serious.
Exactly.
It's a big problem.
You see now.
People shouldn't admire what we do, but not the people that do it. The people and the action should correlate. It should
go together.
We should go together.
There's no contradiction.
Yes, no contradiction. So thank you very much, George, for sharing with us today and making us to understand very much well. Like my objective was to bring more light on the beatification of Dr. Fonlon, and also understand your interest with the Catholic Church back home in Cameroon. And I believe our people listening have learned a lot. I've learned a lot, and I continue to encourage you in what you do, so far as you are doing just what is right, the good thing. And may God bless you, and hope to be with you again. Thank you so much, my brother.
May God bless you too in your
my ministry,
in your ministry, and in your advocacy too. Because you're trying to. This is an opportunity you are giving to someone to air out his view, which is also a ministry. So thank you very much for doing that, and may the Almighty God bless you with good health,
amen,
long life, constant joy.
Very
because Prof Francis said it all. Evangelic Gaudium, the gospel of joy.
Yes.
If we cannot express that, then we should not even go to church. So that is my wish for you, that you may be constantly joyful.
Yes.
And that you may be able to realize all your dreams and projects.
You can see our brother George, even though he's in the state, he speaks and still say
in the
it's still there also. Here in the state, when you speak to these people here, and you're like, they're like, this man is from Africa. All right, so as people stay tuned, continue to pray for your people and to pray for your brother in case if you think anyway, just keep praying. God is in control. Goodbye.
Thank you.